This is Raji Naran Singh before, and this is how she looked like in 2005. Who is she and what happened to her face? Well, on this video, we're going to talk about the terrifying but uplifting story of Raji Narayan Singh. Raji Narayan Singh is an American actress, LGBTQ activist, author, singer, and reality TV star of several botched television episodes. She came out as a transgender woman in the late 1990s, and that's when she began transitioning. In 2005, in an attempt to feminize her appearance, Raji underwent injections of black market products into her face, her breasts, and her hips by a now infamous O'Neill Ron Morris. O'Neill is now known as the toxic tush doctor. So what did the toxic tush doc inject into Raji's face to cause such a crazy reaction? Well, although Raji believed that it was silicone and was told that silicone would be injected into these body parts, in reality it was a mixture of cement, Fix-A-Flat tire sealant, mineral oil, and super glue. Now, for several months, Raji did not show any outward bad signs of these injections. But then she suddenly started developing bubbling up and hardening of many of these areas of her face, her hips, and her breasts. These unnatural fillers hardened underneath her skin, creating hard, firm, rock-like nodules pretty much everywhere that they were injected. Now, whenever you inject a foreign substance into the body will create scar tissue around it. In certain cases, this scar tissue can be very thin, especially when these substances that may be injected or put into the body are sterile and inert, like let's say the silicone rubber around a silicone breast implant, or the titanium that is used in hardware for, let's say, orthopedic or maxillofacial surgeries. But in other cases, when the substance is not quite so inert to the body can react very aggressively against it, creating thick scar tissue, calcification, granulation tissue, and inflammation. And this is what happened to Raji. Now, Raji said that for several years she was too embarrassed to go out in public and to get treatment for this problem. She essentially secluded herself in her home until a friend of hers encouraged her to seek medical treatment. And this is something that I see often in plastic surgery patients. If plastic surgery patients get botched, sometimes they'll stay at home or they'll hide away because they're too embarrassed. They're worried that somebody might see them, either make fun of them, or that a doctor may perform further operations on them, making their problem even worse. So Raji did finally go see a Dr. John Martin, who did agree to treat her completely for free. He began by conducting ultrasound treatments to the hardened areas and by putting her on medication that can reduce inflammation. Now, in a situation like this, when somebody has an active inflammatory process, then usually the treatment would be medical to start out with, putting them on steroids that can help reduce the body's inflammatory response to these foreign bodies, and also putting the patient on antibiotics if there is any sign of infection. Now, these can possibly reduce the body's inflammatory response, reduce the amount of scarring that continues to build up, and tamp down any infection. But unfortunately, these types of medical treatments are not curative. The only cure is to actually remove or cut out the offending substance. But the problem with trying to cut out something that was injected is that it's usually injected throughout multiple, if not dozens or hundreds of layers throughout the tissues. And interspersed amongst all that scar tissue and dangerous substances are blood vessels and nerves that can be integral to the health and the movement of the face. So to try to cut out these types of large masses from the face could result in uncontrolled bleeding or even facial paralysis. Well, finally, in 2015, Raji was able to get a good amount of the cement literally cut out of her face in an episode of Botched. And I'll tell you, the steps that Dr. Dubrow had to take to remove this cement from her face, I mean, it was incredible what he had to do. And I'll give you a link to my reaction to that botched episode at the end of this video. Now, since Raji has had her face fixed, she's gone on to do some really incredible things. She's become a well-known poster child for avoiding black market injections, and she completely embraces her role. She's been featured on over 30 different reality shows and television segments. She's been in movies, and she even has created her own musical videos, including this one, which is Shake Your Cement. I'll just let you watch it. I am so glad that Raji found herself on the other side of this terrifying situation. And if you are considering filler injections, please only have them done in the office of a board-certified dermatologist or plastic surgeon. And only get fillers that are either hyaluronic acid-based fillers, like Restylane or Juvederm, or Sculptra injections. I don't recommend any of the other fillers that are on the market. And check out my reaction right up here to the botched television episode where Raji had that cement literally removed from her face using power tools found at a hardware store. You gotta check this out right up here. And remember, eat real food, use clean skincare, and auto-rejuvenate before you operate.